You know what? I was going to take a break from making some videos, but after one of my videos getting a false flag and watching the news and watching some of Romney's surrogates, or excuse me, even Mitt Romney, go there with the racial attacks, and taking the lead of Rush Limbaugh and whatnot. I said, nah, I can't take a break. I keep doing what I got to keep doing. Well, what happened was I came across an article here on Yahoo, and they was talking about Michael Johnson, and he was saying it was unfair um, for Oscar Pistorius to run because if they say he has an unfair advantage. If you guys know who he is, he's a runner. I think he's a double amputee if I'm not mistaken, and his legs basically they call him Blade Runner. This. Now, me personally, I think it's cool that he's running, and then at the same time I can understand what Michael is talking about. It comes across as pretty unfair, but you have to give this man credit. But the fact that Michael has an opinion that a lot of other people who are into the Olympics, into that particular part of track and field. Now, if you read the title of this article, it says Michael Johnson open mouth again, calls it Oscar Pistorius. It's basically saying that Michael Johnson shouldn't be able to have opinion, shouldn't be able to speak. Now, read this. Michael Johnson sure is chatty this year. First, we have a commentary on how slave descendants have a genetic edge on track. We can talk about that. A lot of blacks have talked about that over the years, even whites. Now, the 400-meter world record holder and four-time U.S. Olympic gold medalist is calling out South African sprinter and double amputee Oscar Pistorius for having a potentially an unfair advantage. I consider Oscar a friend of mine, but he knows I'm against the running, Johnson said to the London Telegraph. Because it's not about Oscar, it's about him as an individual. It is about the rules that you would make and put in place for the sport, which will apply to anyone, not just Oscar. Pistorius, also known as Blade Runner, has garnered a lot of attention since being approved to compete in London. The South African sprinter lost the lower part of his legs as a child and uses blade-like prosthetic limbs when he competes on the track. Johnson isn't the first to broach this subject. The debate ensued at water coolers among TV talking heads and across the internet as soon as the story broke early in July. Should a disabled runner whose limbs have been rebuilt with modern technology be allowed to compete with able-bodied athletes? It's a reasonable debate and would make must-see TV when Pistorius decides to take a track in London. It's also a compelling reason for Johnson to open his mouth. See, even the words, reading this is sarcasm. A track diva, if there ever is one, Johnson was the first runner to wear gold cleats in competition. Now with the spotlight moved firmly to the likes of Pistorius and Usain Bolt, maybe Johnson misses all the attention he got while collecting gold medals in Atlanta. Maybe he's worried about a disabled athlete overtaking his world record down the line. Either way, we can't wait to hear what he has to say next. Whatever the track controversy pops up, we're sure to hear his opinions. If there is one, he'll probably make one up of his own. And when it happens, we'll be listening. Thank you, Michael. Now, let me say this again. If this is a white man, the tone doesn't shock me, okay? If it's a black man, he ought to be ashamed of himself using his sarcasm. First of all, Michael Johnson has a right to voice his opinion like any other person. I find it funny that when a black man opens his mouth about sports, people look at him with gall and disrespect and mock him. But you have men who get paid every day to give commentaries or sports shows direct to people who've never played a sport, criticizing these men and women who play these sports every day. People who understand sports know your body breaks down pretty quick. And if you sit back and really think about it, it's cool that a disabled person is running in this endeavor, but when you think about it, it isn't fair. Because say for instance, you have somebody like a Michael Johnson who's been training all their lives. I'm not saying this gentleman hasn't been training all his lives, But this man hasn't used anything other but than his own power. Could this give him an unfair could this give this guy an unfair disadvantage because he don't have the same weight that he has to work with? I mean, think about it. He's missing his limbs. Anybody know these things are strong and sturdy, but they're lighter than his actual legs would be. That could be an unfair advantage. Now, while I think it's cool and I commend this gentleman for running, if you really break it down, really think about it, it is unfair to a degree. Now, people can sit there and say, well, he's running as able-bodied men. He had to be just as fast. And, if he can, now, like I said, I will watch it. I ain't going to lie to you. I wish him all the best. But the thing is, black men are not supposed to give opinions on anything in this country. Not even supposed to give their opinion about the shit they're going with on their own community. You could tell by this writer basically saying he called him a diva. Now, if I'm not mistaken, usually when we use the term diva, we usually refer to women. See, there's always these subtle cracks about our sexuality. It's always these subtle cracks about our intelligence, or about, we should have an opinion. Like the other day when Kobe Bryant gave his opinion about, Michael being better than the 92 Dream Team and stuff, you should see him like, oh, Kobe, what if he's on? It's not, I don't see it was a big deal about it. Those sports stars talking crap. Michael Jordan had no problem comparing his era to different eras, or saying what he's doing. And it's weird. As long as Michael Jordan is criticizing other black ball players like LeBron James, the media doesn't say shit, because Michael Jordan is criticizing other black players. But when these younger brothers sit there and say, okay, you know what, my criticism of Michael Jordan is this, or those older players who've turned around basically disrespected these younger ball players, because Kobe and me, we in the same age group. And a lot of times I thought the stuff Michael Jordan would say was kind of condescending. Like when Scottie Pippen, who played with Michael Jordan, said LeBron James might be the best ball player. Everybody, oh my God, Scottie said this and everything this. People forget, Mike didn't win them championships by himself. If it wasn't for Scottie, the Bulls would never won. It wasn't for Dennis Rodman or B.J. Armstrong or Craig Hodges or Bill Cartwright, Horace Grant, Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc. See, when people start to really think about it, Michael Jordan did some great things, but he didn't do it alone. And I guess the point is with this is that if a black man is critiquing something in the sports, especially something that they're good at or play every day, people want to criticize them and say, how dare you say anything? How dare you criticize? And I think a lot of this had to do with this guy being disabled. And a lot of them, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, the gentleman is white. So, when you sit back and you hear these things come out of some of these commentators or men who wanted to play ball or didn't play ball or they didn't get a chance to live out their dreams, they criticize a black man. I think it's this level of hypocrisy that just knows no bounds. Michael Johnson has a right to just criticism, and he even said that the guy they know each other, and he was vocal about it. I mean, how many times have we remember Howard Cosell saying things? How many times have we seen Joe Buck and all these and Harry Carey and Chip Carey and all these different people saying shit over the years that we didn't agree with as sports fans? But because they were white sitting in front of the camera, they can have an opinion. But the men and women who play these sports, they're not allowed to express themselves. When they do, it's a condescending tone. This is why I get mad at our people. There are brothers and sisters out there who try to speak up, even if it's not even racially motivated, just trying to speak and express their opinions. And you always got somebody want to tell them to be quiet. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, or you got an attitude, or you just got your opinion doesn't mean shit. But yet you hang on the word of men who never played the sport, women who've never played the sport. This is why I don't watch these sports shows. This is why I don't listen to sports radio anymore. Because I remember when I was a kid, especially in the early to mid '90s, I remember watching the different sports commentators or sports reporters on the different stations here in Chicago and on a national level. Y'all got some pudgy, wimpy ass white dude or some white woman always making comments and cracks at the expense of black athletes. And then if you ask their opinion and they get honest with you, people have the nerve to get indignant. This is why when I watch these after the games and they ask these sports stars stuff, they ask dumbass questions, and the brother answer them, and they try to be real polite, and they keep asking, and the brother like, hey, put them in their place. People get mad like, well, he's getting paid, he got to do what we say. Basically, this is why I tell everybody, and other black men have said, sports is nothing but it's nothing but modern day slavery, because people figure if you run down the court, run down the field, run around a diamond, run around an oval shaped field, that somehow you must jump when they say jump, speak when they say speak. And this is why I get mad at our people and our community pushing our young brothers to go run and try to play sports. I give you an example. When they talk about Derrick Rose here in Chicago, or when you see national news, they keep bringing up about his single mother and his brothers. He comes from a good background. He comes from a good background. We don't hear them talking about white stars like that. It's condescending and it's insulting. Like I said, I don't know if this person who wrote this article is black or white. Now, if it's a brother that wrote this article, he ought to be ashamed of himself because of the condescending tone, the criticism he gave of this brother. But if it's a white guy, what you expect? And I mean no disrespect to those white YouTubers who come across this video or might be subscribed to me, but I'm tired of the condescending tone. I'm tired of people making it seem as if a black person, especially somebody who plays in these sports, who have won, have a proven record, can't speak out about anything. They can't form their own opinions. These media, they put these microphones in front of them to get their opinion. Then when they give it to them, they want to get an attitude with them. Michael Johnson, whether you agree with him or not, he has a right to express his opinion. And he's not the only one that have said that it was unfair. Now, me personally, considering that how we treat disabled people, how we look at them, I think it's cool that this man is running. But if you sit down and think about it objectively, is it an unfair advantage? It probably is. Because, remember, he doesn't have the same muscle mass that these other runners have. But then people say, well, he's running on those blades. It takes a lot of skill. Well, yeah. And I would never knock him for that. But let's be honest. Let's be honest about why people criticize Michael Johnson or any black male celebrity when it comes down to voicing their opinion, especially sports stars. If y'all think I'm exaggerating, watch after a game. Watch the dumb question at black celebrities. Then when black guys try to speak up about it, the news don't barely want to cover it, or they want to mock them. They want to mock them. I mean, look what happened to Jason Kidd. That he gets arrested. I was watching a glance at Morning Joe. They was making jokes about it. Why is it when our brothers get in trouble or have transgressions, everybody want to make jokes, but when white people do something, they always making fucking excuses? So y'all can't tell me race doesn't have a part in it. And even when it comes down to other black commentators criticizing black men, because they feel they got a coon, they got a buffoon, they got to be handkerchief heads when it comes down to certain things. So I state this again. This guy may be white, this guy may be black. If he's white, this is to be expected. If he's black, shame on you. But Michael Johnson have a right to say what he want to say. And just looking at his title, Michael Johnson, open mouth again. Calls out, like open mouth again. It's like he's saying this nigga can't. That's what he's saying. I'm not just saying. He's saying basically this nigga should not have an opinion. He should need to just be seen, not heard. This is why I get mad at us on YouTube, the shit that we pulling with each other. When you start flagging and false flagging or arguing with people, you trying to shut down another brother, another sister voice when they do this every day to us. Y'all need to start thinking about these things.